Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all doing well this evening. Um, Here we are. It's Wednesday evening. It's almost 6:30. Not quite there yet. If you are out there watching, please let me know that you're there. Um, Let me know that you're uh, you're watching and that uh, we're having a fun evening together. Um, the time now says that it is 6:30, and I'm looking at my clock, and it sure looks like that's where we are. So, well, hello there. I'm starting to see people joining in. I've got two that are watching so far. Our story tonight is it is a book from one of my friends, Donna Morrison. I thank Donna for the books that she's given me. Um, the book tonight is called Owen and the Mountain, and it was written by Malachi Doyle and Giles Greenfield. And it is a short list for Children's Book Award. Hi, Cindy. I hope you're doing well. So let's go ahead and start our story. Owen and the Mountain. Owen went to stay with his granddad. Granddad lived on his own in a cottage at the foot of a mountain. He had no television. He had no car. It was a long time since he'd had a child stay. Hi, Margie. Hi, Paul. There's the house. It's a big, beautiful house, though, isn't it? What would you like to do, Owen? Asked Grandpa. Owen looked out the window. All he could see was the great mountain rising in the sky. I suppose we could play a game, said Granddad, trying to think of one. I don't want to play a game, said Owen. I want to go up there, to the top of the mountain. Granddad said nothing for a long time. I'm sorry, Owen, he sighed. You're too young to walk to the top of the mountain, and I'm too old. Hi, Dawn. I hope you have both girls. Hi, Stella. Hi, Jade. There's Grandpa sitting there, and Owen's looking out the window. And look at the cat sitting on Grandpa's chair. Later, Granddad went to Owen's room to say goodnight. He found him sitting by the window. Granddad, said Owen, the sheep can climb the mountain, even the old ones. Please, can we try? Granddad sat next to him, and they were quiet. All right, Owen, he said at last. If it's fine tomorrow, we'll try to climb the mountain. I don't know, that looks like a pretty big mountain, doesn't it? Early the next morning, Owen ran along the path. He stopped at the edge of the woods. It's dark in there, Granddad, he said. I don't like it. It's all right, Owen, said Granddad, coming close. Take my hand. Can you hear the birds? He whispered as they entered the woods. Owen listened. He heard the birds singing in the trees. They walked a little further. Can you hear the wind? Asked Granddad. Owen listened, and he heard the wind sighing in the leaves. I like the woods, Granddad, he said, as they came into the daylight. I like the woods when I'm with you. So there's Owen and Granddad, and looks like their dog. And look at that tree. Is there somebody hiding in it? Looks like a little fox. The path up the mountain was steep and stony. It was easier for Granddad with his grown-up legs, but it was hard for little Owen. I'm tired, Granddad, he said, as they came to a bubbling stream. Can we stop? Of course we can, Owen, said Granddad. We can stop as often as you like. Granddad showed Owen how to cup his hands to drink the fresh, clear water, and they rested. Look at all that water in those beautiful waterfalls. And there's Granddad showing him how to cup his hands. I just heard thunder outside. I think we're going to get rain. The path's not so steep now, Owen, said Granddad. Would you like to ride on my shoulders? Oh, yes, Granddad, said Owen. So Granddad lifted him up and bounced him high in the air. I like it here, Granddad, said Owen. I like it in the mountains with you. There's Granddad with Owen on his shoulders. And there's the puppy with his walking stick. Soon they came to a beautiful lake. Owen laughed, throbbing pebbles into the shining water. He laughed some more as Granddad showed him how to choose smooth, flat stones and bounce them across the lake. Isn't it wonderful, Owen? Said Granddad, stretching out on the grassy bank. I could stay here all day. But Owen didn't want to stay. He wanted to get up to the top of the mountain. Come on, Granddad, he called, running off up the path. Slowly, Granddad got to his feet. Wait for me, Owen, he cried. Don't go on your own. There they are at the water. And then there goes Owen off on his own. That could get him into trouble. Owen climbed up the steep slope. When he got to the narrow ridge, it was cold, so cold, and the wind took his breath away. Owen looked all around, and he was frightened. He looked down and saw Granddad trudging up behind him, and he was glad. Look at those mountains. And there's Owen standing all by himself. Granddad, he cried, shivering. I was scared. It's all right, Owen, said Granddad, holding him tightly. You're safe now. I'm sorry I ran off, Granddad, said Owen. I want to be with you now. And I want to be with you, Owen, said Granddad. Here, put on my jumper. You're freezing. He took off his big woolly jumper and he put it over Owen. It reached down to Owen's knees, and they both laughed. There they are. Owen's kind of scared, and the puppy's there. And then there they are on their way again. At last, together, they reached the summit of the great mountain. Owen looked down and he could see the lake, the woods, and even Granddad's cottage. Tiny in the distance, he looked up and there was nothing but sky. We're on top of the world, aren't we, Granddad? He whispered. We are, Owen, said Granddad, putting his arm around him. Owen snuggled in close, and they were quiet. Look at that beautiful view. There looks like there's a mountain sheep. There they are. The way down was hard for both of them, and they had had to stop many times to rest their weary legs. My knees are like jelly, said Owen, catching hold of Granddad. So are mine, Owen, said Granddad, steadying him. But if we take it slowly, we'll be fine. Look at the snake on the rock. And there's the waterfall, and there's Granddad and Owen and the puppy. As the long, hard day turned into evening, they arrived back at the cottage. Granddad warmed up some soup, and then Owen squashed up beside him in a big, cozy armchair. I'm glad we climbed the mountain, Granddad, he said sleepily. I'm glad I came to stay. So am I, Owen, said Granddad, smiling. So am I. There they are. They're back at the cottage. Then here we are. That big fire and squooshed together. And that's the end of our story. Have you ever climbed a mountain? I have. And it's really, really tiring. I wasn't very good at it either. By the time we got done, my legs were like jelly. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope that you will keep some of our friends in prayer as we go through the week. We want to keep um, the Rudder family and Sonner family in prayer on the loss of Carolyn Rudder. And also, we want to keep the Kennedy family in prayer and the loss of Jerry Kennedy. Um, we have good things happening and we have bad things happening, sad things more than bad. So we want to keep them in prayer that Jesus watches over them and holds them very, very close so that they know that they are not alone. I'm glad to see that I had folks watching tonight. I'll be posting this and I'm sure that there will be other folks that will be watching in later this week. We'll see you on Sunday. Have a great evening. Much love. Bye bye.